The story begins in the chilling year of 2007, alongside the Lantern Lake. There, a man by the name of Huan Shang finds himself engrossed in a quiet fishing expedition with his companion. They have come here to enjoy the freshly caught fish. However, the tranquility is shattered by an unexpected and ominous occurrence. As they are eating their meal, an evil demon appears out of thin air, inquiring about the taste of their fish. Shockingly, the demon's face becomes grotesquely embedded within the very flesh of their cooked fish. Uninvited and unsettling, this demon becomes a harbinger of doom. The malevolent entity begins tormenting Mr. Huang's friends. They convulse and retch as if possessed, resorting to self-inflicted, banging their heads brutally against hard rocks. The pain is palpable, and the relentless. This sinister demon, unfazed, proceeds to enter Mr. Huang's poor body. The man's body turns gray and he limply falls on his back. All of a sudden, the demon utters the name Kai, a name that bears a connection to a psychic named Cheng. Young Kai, disturbed from his slumber, gasps awake to find his father by his side. He quickly gets up to tell his father, Cheng, about the nightmare. Kai anxiously warns his father about a monstrous entity on the hunt for someone known as Master Tiger. Cheng, a loving and protective father, reassures Kai by hugging him close to himself. Meanwhile, in the background, the news of another tragedy plays out on the news, revealing that Mr. Huang has committed unspeakable horrors against him. He took their life by strangling them with suffocating plastic bags. The scene changes and we see a beautiful ancient temple. Within these hallowed walls, Cheng performs an eerie exorcism on a troubled teenager named Chen Sin-hung. As Cheng performs the ritual, two students, Fatty and Hao, arrive at the temple. They sneakily record the exorcism but are soon found out by Cheng's assistant. The man quickly stops them but soon finds out that they have been granted permission to document matters related to spirits and Master Tiger for a competition. Cheng's assistant happily grants them a tour and tells them the dark history rooted in the origins of Master Tiger, revealed through a cryptic mural. It is revealed that in 1669, a valiant general transported Master Tiger from the distant shores of China to the foreboding terrain of Taiwan. This caused a dire necessity to confront malevolent demons lurking around Lantern Lake. Master Tiger did succeed in sealing away the malevolent archdemon, but he failed to vanquish it entirely. The implications of this revelation are unsettling, to say the least. As the assistant is busy explaining the story to Fatty, Hao sneakily eavesdrops on a conversation between Cheng and his police friend named Zhang. Zhang asks him to meet Mr. Huang as he harbors an insatiable desire to meet Master Tiger. Cheng initially hesitates, given that it has been a long time since he was last possessed by Master Tiger, who is a spirit. However, his friend successfully implores him, persuading Cheng to help him out this one last time. Cheng comes to see the man and immediately understands that he is indeed possessed by a demon. Meanwhile, Hao overhears that they would exorcise the demon by frying it. After noting down the date and time, he leaves. Sometimes later, we see Hao in a hospital. He has come to meet his mother Yahui, who is currently in a session with a psychiatrist. After the session ends, they go back home where Hao tells his mother about his aspirations to enter a film contest. Her words convey well wishes. But beneath the surface, a tempestuous battle for custody rages between Hao's estranged parents. On the other side, Cheng and Kai partake in a solemn and deeply heartfelt prayer session, paying tribute to Cheng's departed wife named Ling, asking for her protection from the looming darkness. Cheng lovingly tucks Kai into his bed. However, before drifting off to sleep, Kai presents his father with a drawing that he made of his mother. He also shares a dream in which his mother told him that she misses them dearly, and to remind his father of a promise they made. Cheng gazes upon the sketch with warmth in his eyes. Then he goes to a dimly lit room and carefully opens a box filled with sacred relics. He is preparing for the daunting exorcism of Mr. Huang. As he readies himself, his eyes fall upon the tiger-striped tattoos adorning his arms, a symbol of a hidden past that he keeps close to his heart. Inside the shadowy confines of a warehouse, Mr. Huang is securely bound to a chair. Two dedicated followers of Master Tiger encircle him, ringing a bell to set the solemn mood. Cheng places a lifeless fish and a peculiar compass, one with the power to detect spirits, on the table before him. With unwavering determination, he begins to chant an incantation invoking the presence of Master Tiger. Then he removes the enchanted blanket that conceals the demon within Mr. Huang, and inquires about the identity of the malevolent demon lurking within. Outside the warehouse, Hao and Fatty sit poised with their recording devices, ready to capture every moment of the ritual. Inside, Cheng clenches his fist in Mr. Huang's hair, striving to restrain the demon's influence. He delves into Mr. Huang's thoughts, bearing witness to the gruesome aftermath of his crime, and a mysterious doorway at the end of a chilling corridor. Just as the ritual appears to proceed according to plan, an unforeseen twist occurs. The demon changes its face and turns into Cheng's late wife. This event leaves the man paralyzed and the demon seizes his chance. It breaks free and launches a deadly assault. As Mr. Huang's grip tightens around Cheng's throat, he frantically attempts to recite the summoning spell again, but it seems to be in vain. Suddenly, Cheng's consciousness is transported back to the same warehouse, but this time, he finds himself bound to the very chair Mr. Huang once occupied. The eerie surroundings send shivers down his spine, and the ghostly figure of Mr. Huang looms menacingly over him. Cheng's strength wanes as Mr. Huang's hand around his throat tightens. When all hope appears lost, the two assistants and Zhang rush to the scene. Swiftly, they encase Mr. Huang in the protective embrace of the enchanted blanket. However, the cunning demon within Mr. Huang manages to escape, taking flight above them. With lightning speed, the demon lunges toward Zhang, but Cheng, with a well-timed maneuver, captures the demon within the same enchanted blanket and places it atop the lifeless fish. To bring the ritual to its climax, Cheng decides it's time to confront this malevolent demon fish head-on. He opts for the frying pan, and the demon fish sizzles away in the scalding oil. With the rite finally concluded, they dispose of the now fried demon fish in the trash. Meanwhile, Hao and Fatty, stationed outside the warehouse, curiously capture footage of the peculiar demon fish. But then, suddenly, the demon fish's crimson eyes fixate on them, and it begins writhing on the ground. In a truly bizarre twist, the demon fish gives birth to a smaller offspring. Hao swiftly secures the baby demon fish inside a water bottle. The following day, Hao and Fatty find themselves back in class, engrossed in a documentary crafted by one of their fellow students. The documentary offers insight into the enigmatic phenomenon of possession, shedding light on its surprisingly common occurrence. It explains that there are wandering spirits with unresolved issues, on the prowl for vulnerable human minds to inhabit and manipulate. On the other side of town, Cheng watches his son Kai relishing a bowl of red bean soup that he prepared. This simple moment triggers fond memories of his wife's pregnancy with Kai, during which he found Cheng's soup a tad too sweet for her liking. Cheng smiles, relishing the sweet memory. Poor man must be missing his wife so much. As Kai enjoys his meal, Cheng spots a crumpled piece of paper on the table. He reaches for it, but Kai swiftly intervenes, sharing that he drew it after a particularly frightening nightmare the previous night. Cheng, ever the reassuring father, encourages Kai not to be afraid and carefully unfolds the paper. On it, he discovers a menacing black face with angry red eyes. Cheng remembers the red-eyed fish demon and feels a little trouble. Meanwhile, back in his house, Hao is roused by the sound of his mother returning home. He proudly informs her that he and Fatty took the initiative to clean the house earlier, earning a warm smile from her. During their tidying efforts, Hao stumbled upon a long-forgotten Mother's Day gift he had given her, a G-clef necklace that she never wore. He also uncovered a bag filled with items related to his absent father. His mom promptly retrieves the bag after spotting photographs of her with her ex-husband, expressing her reluctance to hold on to them. As she moves the bag, she notices a new fish swimming in the aquarium. Hao explains that Fatty gave it to him, and they are making a film on it. The woman's eyes strangely get glued to this new fish. When midnight arrives, Cheng is abruptly roused from a haunting dream in which Kai is relentlessly pursued by a malevolent demon. He gasps awake and hears forceful knocking at his front door. Cheng cautiously opens the door to find Zhang wearing a deeply concerned expression. The friend reveals the unsettling news that Mr. Huang's two guards were possessed and inadvertently allowed the demon to escape. Fearing the havoc this unleashed demon may wreak, they decide to pay a visit to Mr. Huang's residence for further investigation. Inside Mr. Huang's home, Zhang examines a family portrait, pondering how a seemingly contented family could become ensnared in such tragedy. Their investigation leads them to the second floor, where Cheng enters a bedroom alone while his friend stands guard outside. Suddenly, a mysterious hand reaches out towards Zhang, only to vanish into thin air when he turns around in shock. In the bedroom, Cheng follows the guidance of the compass, ultimately discovering a crumpled talisman hidden beneath the bed. In the dimly lit hallway of Mr. Huang's house, Zhang notices two incense sticks planted in a bowl at the far end. Out of nowhere, a plastic bag ominously emerges and begins drifting menacingly toward him. Recognition dawns as he realizes how the father had taken using these bags in this very house. He freezes and as a ghostly figure materializes before him, while another one attacks him from behind with a menacing plastic bag. Panic sets in as he struggles against the malevolent ghost, managing to tear the plastic bag and causing the apparition to dissipate. Trembling and shaken, Zhang waits anxiously outside the house for Cheng's return. Finally, Cheng emerges from the house, revealing that Mr. Huang had followed the advice of a feng shui master to amass wealth, inadvertently trapping a malevolent spirit within their home. Zhang, visibly angered, chastises the family for turning to a feng shui master instead of seeking the help of the police. Cheng, however, shows the talisman for expelling evil spirits, implying that the family knew they were dealing with a demon and believed in the power of religious intervention over law enforcement. Meanwhile, back at Hao's place, her mother starts getting played by the evil spirit. She hallucinates and sees her husband who isn't actually in the house. As a new day dawns, Cheng, accompanied by his psychic friend, decides to visit the great-granddaughter Mei Hua of the feng shui master who had advised Mr. Huang. Unfortunately, the master herself has retired to the mountains. Mei Hua reassures them that her ancestor wouldn't use harmful spells on anyone. She does, however, hand over the master's notes to Cheng, as she lacks information on how the master arranged Mr. Huang's house. Intrigued by the final conversation between Mei Hua and Mr. Huang's wife, Zhang inquires further. The woman recalls that Mr. Huang's wife was in tears on the phone, claiming that her husband was possessed. She had to inform her that the master had retired and could no longer assist. The conversation ended abruptly, with Mr. Huang's wife gasping for air. Before they depart, Mei Hua suddenly asks Cheng if he noticed anything unusual in the master's notes. Cheng responds that the notes omitted any mention of Mr. Huang's sixth son, who evidently met a tragic fate. This revelation prompts Chang and his friend to return to Mr. Huang's residence. They observe a recent offering at the end of the hallway, arousing suspicion that something might be concealed behind the wall. With unwavering determination, they break down the wall and uncover a hidden basement. Inside, they find a child's drawing on the wall, remnants of fish scales on a well-used bed, and a dusty shelf containing a medical record. The medical record discloses that Mr. Huang's son had suffered from a rare congenital condition since birth, which caused his skin to resemble that of a fish. Meanwhile, Hao shares a moment with his mother, who has been battling a persistent sense of melancholy. He gently suggests that she visit her psychiatrist, but she expresses reservations, fearing that it would stigmatize her as unstable and incapable of caring for her child. Nevertheless, Hao offers unwavering reassurance, reminding her of his steadfast support. Later, Hao's mother proceeds to clean the aquarium. However, when she returns to the living room, it's a complete mess and the aquarium's water has turned murky once again. Distressed, she rushes to the bathroom, thinking it's all a hallucination, and takes her prescribed medication to calm her nerves. As she faces the mirror, she is horrified by her own reflection, which seems to distort and contort. Her fright intensifies as a voice calls her name from the empty shower. She returns to the living room, only to find everything in order again. Then, she notices Fatty's video camera sitting on the dining table, and she watches a video that reduces her to tears. The video shows Hao happily spending time with his father's new family. As night casts its sinister shroud, Chang and his friend maintain their lookout outside Mr. Huang's house, hoping to catch a glimpse of the person leaving offerings near the basement entrance. Shortly after, an elderly woman arrives at Mr. Huang's residence, bearing a basket laden with offerings. Chang and his friend venture inside and meet this woman, who identifies herself as the midwife present during the birth of Mr. Huang's son. She unveils that Mr. Huang and his wife subjected all because of his rare skin condition. Tragically, they never sought proper medical care for their son and his condition worsened. Then, one fateful evening, Mr. Huang, convinced that his son was attempting to escape. From that night onward, the son vanished, never to be seen again. The old woman cries as she tells this heart-wrenching story. Meanwhile, Hao returns home to find his mother gazing vacantly at the wall. She inquires whether Hao is happier with his father's new family. The boy remains silent. However, his mother confronts him forcefully, demanding the truth. In an unexpected outburst, Hao confesses that he finds happiness with his father's family, because his own mother's behavior has grown increasingly disturbing. In frustration, Hao leaves her alone and retreats to his room after taking the video camera. He slams the door behind him. Alone in her room, Hao's mother clutches the divorce letter tightly. Suddenly, the metronome atop the piano begins moving of its own accord. She investigates and spots a figure seated on the stool. Yet, when she draws back the thin drapes, the figure vanishes into thin air. She hastily halts the metronome and takes a deep breath to steady herself. However, upon turning around, she is confronted by a scaly-skinned demon hissing menacingly at her, causing her to stumble backward. The demon then proceeds to possess her. Back in his bedroom, Hao is abruptly awakened from a nightmare. He leaves his bedroom and is met with a horrifying sight. The aquarium is devoid of life, and a trail of blood leads him to the bathroom. Behind the shower curtain, he discovers his mother feasting on a fish from the aquarium. Terrified, Hao retreats to the living room as his possessed mother limps toward him. He is jolted as he hears the front door slam shut on its own. Looking around, he sees nothing and no one, but then soon, his mother reappears. The woman briefly reverts to her normal self but then retreats back into the bathroom, leaving Hao in a state of unimaginable horror. Driven by desperation, Hao seeks Cheng's assistance in exorcising his possessed mother. He brings along the fish he discovered on the day they confronted the demon fish. Cheng has his assistant carefully shield the baby fish beneath the protective embrace of the enchanted blanket. He initiates the ritual by clenching his fist above the possessed woman's head, mirroring his prior action. Through the demon's eyes, Cheng witnesses a chilling revelation. Mr. Huang had callously slammed against a wall and then buried near Lantern Lake. This horrifying truth sends shockwaves through Cheng's very core. Shortly thereafter, Cheng's assistant terminates the life of the flapping fish concealed beneath the enchanted blanket, bringing an end to the possessed woman's violent tremors during the exorcism. Cheng recognizes that they are contending with a far more malevolent demon than they had initially anticipated. Hao asks if his mother is going to be okay. In response, he provides Hao with a protective charm designed to shield them from the sinister influence of these malevolent beings. The next day, Cheng, accompanied by several devoted followers of Master Tiger, convenes at Lantern Lake to seek justice for the tragic fate that befell Mr. Huang. They establish an altar adorned with a statue of Master Tiger and other sacred relics. Meanwhile, within Lantern, the police stumble upon Mr. Huang's lifeless body, displaying telltale signs of strangulation, with a plastic bag tightly cinched around his head. Cheng is now firmly convinced that the demons have harnessed the vengeful spirit of Mr. Huang's son, transforming him into a malevolent force of darkness. Back at Hao's school, His mother exudes an eerie aura as she takes center stage for her performance. Hao watches her intently. She plays the piano, but her piece is notably different from her usual repertoire. As Hao's mother performs this unsettling composition, demons lurking in the vicinity of Lantern Lake converge upon Cheng and his dedicated followers. Both Master Tiger's followers and the students in the auditorium suddenly begin convulsing uncontrollably, as if they are succumbing to possession. Cheng endeavors to invoke the presence of Master Tiger once more, but to his dismay, his efforts yield no results. The malevolent demons intensify their possession of the followers, forcing Cheng's assistant to intervene and extricate Cheng from the increasingly ensnared group. The sacred altar they painstakingly constructed is obliterated by the malevolent forces, and Cheng watches in horror as he is forcibly dragged away. Back in school, as the woman concludes her performance, parents in the auditorium run out with their children in fear. One parent accidentally bumps into Hao and he frighteningly finds himself in his mother's bedroom. There, he stumbles upon her G-clef necklace lying on the floor and picks it up. Unexpectedly, the possessed mother launches a sudden savage attack on him. Hao, shaken from his daze, becomes aware of his father's voice and finds himself clutching the necklace back inside the auditorium. Meanwhile, a broken Cheng returns to his home, taking a seat in the dining room. There, he notices Kai's increasingly dark and foreboding drawings, vividly portraying the malevolent demon they are grappling with. Fearing for his son's safety, Cheng frantically looks for his son and finds Kai curled up in the bathtub. Filled with a tumultuous mixture of fear and relief upon finding his son unharmed, Cheng envelops Kai in a tight embrace. He then takes his son and pays a visit to his father, Master Long. Upon their arrival, Kai warmly embraces his grandfather and confides in him about Cheng's urgent need for assistance. Later, we see Cheng humbly kneeling before an altar devoted to Master Tiger, seeking guidance and intervention. Master Long arrives and takes a moment to recount a poignant and painful memory to Cheng. He recalls the last time he knelt before the statue of Master Tiger, a moment etched in sorrow. It was when Cheng's wife was battling cancer while carrying Kai in her womb. Faced with the agonizing decision presented by the doctor that only one life could be saved, Cheng had prayed fervently to Master Tiger. He had desperately pleaded for both his wife and unborn child's salvation. But even divine intervention could not alter the cruel twist of fate. Cheng's wife ultimately passed away, leaving him consumed by guilt and despair. In his anguish, he had attempted to right in front of the Master Tiger altar, but it was Master Long who intervened, preventing him from taking such drastic measures. Returning to the present moment, Master Long imparts profound wisdom to Cheng. He explains that Master Tiger cannot enter his body if his mind remains entangled in an obsession or unresolved pain. The statues and altars serve as reminders that the divine presence is always with them, but the true essence of God resides within each person's heart. The following day, Cheng bids farewell to Kai before embarking on a trip to Lantern. However, Kai earnestly pleads to accompany his father. Cheng, filled with concern, assures Kai that he will return safely and leaves in his car. Before he drives off, Hao, on his bicycle, manages to catch up with Cheng just in time. Hao seeks Cheng's assistance in locating his mother, who mysteriously vanished following the concert. Cheng and Hao journey together to Lantern. Upon arrival, Cheng locates and excavates the grave of Mr. Huang's son. They offer prayers for the tormented soul, but suddenly, malevolent demons converge upon them, encircling them menacingly. Despite their efforts to escape, the relentless demons persistently pursue and attack them. In this dire moment, Hao repels one of the demons using the protective charm he possesses. Just then, he spots his mother deeper in the forest and decides to follow her. Meanwhile, Master Tiger finally possesses Cheng and he skillfully subdues the group of demons attacking him. At the same time, along the way towards her mother, Hao stumbles upon Fatty's video camera. It reveals footage of his mother standing behind an aquarium before disappearing from the camera's view. As he takes another step, suddenly, Hao finds himself transported back to his childhood home, which now appears eerily deserted. Within its walls, he witnesses poignant memories from his early years. His mother lovingly sings a soothing lullaby to a baby Hao and teaches the toddler how to write the G-clef. Approaching his mother in the memory, Hao is heartbroken when she vanishes at his touch. Yet, his mother begins playing the piano in her bedroom, prompting Hao to remove the protective charm, allowing him to communicate with her. Upon entering the room, the video camera reappears, displaying footage of Hao enjoying a day with his father's new family. His mother weeps in a corner, and when Hao calls out to her, she crawls toward him, urging him to stay with them as he is happier there. Despite her terrifying look, Hao embraces his mother, assuring her of his unwavering love and support. The demon within her struggles to maintain control. Hao's profound love for his mother proves stronger and more potent than the demons hold on her. In the meantime, Master Long fervently prays to Master Tiger in the temple, recognizing that the malevolent force Cheng has been grappling with is none other than the dreaded archdemon itself. Back in the forest, suddenly, Cheng's deceased wife materializes before him and extends a haunting invitation, beckoning him to join her. However, Cheng remains steadfast in his newfound understanding of the truth. With a resolute spirit, he clenches his fist above his wife, who lets out a piercing, otherworldly scream. The scaly demon finally discards its deceptive guise, unveiling its true form. It calls forth Archdemon, who emerges ominously behind Cheng and impales him on a jagged branch. The poor man suffers a grievous wound. As he falls limp, simultaneously, Kai's eyes begin to glow, mirroring the radiant presence within Cheng whenever Master Tiger possesses him. Despite the agonizing pain and weakened state, Cheng's thoughts turn resolutely to his promise to protect and care for Kai. Summoning every last ounce of his remaining strength, Cheng breaks free from the branch's grasp and calls upon Master Tiger one last time. Despite the physical separation between father and son, they unite their powers through the divine presence of Master Tiger. Cheng presses his arm tattoos, revealing the radiant image of Master Tiger. Together, with a thunderous and resounding growl, they confront the looming and malevolent threat of Archdemon. The radiant spirit of Master Tiger lunges forth, launching a fierce battle against Archdemon, ultimately vanquishing the ancient evil once more. With the demon subdued, Cheng finally falls limp. He bids a heartfelt farewell to his beloved son through the ethereal realm of dreams. He implores Kai to watch over his grandpa in his stead. Later, Zhang arrives on the scene with a dedicated rescue team in Landa. They discover Cheng's compass lying on the temple floor, along with the other followers. Hao and his mother have also successfully escaped the evil clutches of the demon. Hao, profoundly changed by his experiences, returns the Master Tiger statue to Master Long. In the aftermath of these supernatural trials, Hao's mother rekindles her joy and passion for playing music, her heart now unburdened by malevolent forces. Meanwhile, Master Long stands as a guardian and mentor to Kai, watching over him as the young boy lovingly creates a family portrait that includes the ever-watchful presence of Master Tiger, symbolizing the enduring bond between generations and the preservation of spiritual wisdom.